You can hear me? I can hear inside my head loud and clear. It's like I got a speaker system on right now. This is the most exciting stuff in the world, especially when you have a place to go. Where would you like me to begin? Would you like to go to Grover, Cleveland? The 22nd B&B Venus? 22 is the letter V for life, and 22 is 2 and 2 Venus. Because this is the way it was separated. Neptune is 8. So she took 3 of her parts of 2, 2, and 2. She kept 2 for herself and gave Mars 2, and she gave Earth, and she gave Saturn. Saturn, okay, had 3, but Mars had 2. 2 and 2 for you, and 2 for you. 2 and 2 for you, and 2 for you. Saying that here's 2 and 2 to be 1 more because she's 1, she has 2, he has 2. Because she has 2, you have to be up another level, you get a 2, 2. And 1, 2 for you. So now you have a 2 of her 2, you have 1 of her 2s, then all of a sudden she wrote it down, now you wrote down what she wrote, then you wrote down what you wrote, and now you got to write the total of everybody's. 2, 2, 2, and 2. INR for third, IRA, Angel Services, US Services, Universal Soldier Angel Resident equals 41. Grover Cleveland came in as X and V. He was the cat of the life. Grover Cleveland has an X as the 24th president. That means the one that falls in between is 23. What can we do with 23? B is for 2, and C is for 3. Warner Brothers, I don't know, maybe the whole show and act was on B, C. Bill Clinton. His age right now, if I am correct, there are 2 presidents of 88 and 2 of 68. That is exactly the number of man of which Jesus came into the 8th world with his head above the sky. But he didn't have his head above the sky. He came in through the 7th gate through the 5 pass, a laboratory. Everything that leaves a laboratory is something that has been created. So he came through there. And he was made twice, Mary Magdalene and Jesus Christ. Which one was who? Jesus was just spreading the word because he knew he was the Son of God. But Mary Magdalene was the woman of creation, creation of man's creation. Lilith, the snake. But it wasn't her fault. Not at all. It's just an expression that they used a female. They took the male of Alpha and they created it without going to get a DNA from the outside world. They did it all on their own. Because in this world, we can be alive. We don't need God's Spirit. We'll live under the spirit of creation. But there's certain things that we wouldn't know, we'd never challenge. And maybe we'd be sticking to pray to God so much we think we're going to come back again no matter what. So that way it takes out the fear of God. And the only fear of God you get in there is when you know the truth and the rules of what you should do. Grover Cleveland, 22 for the letter V. The letter V for life of the name of man. The 22nd letter, but in Roman numerals, it's number 5. 4 is next to 5. And that's why on piano we go 1, 2, 3, D, skip. 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 And every time you skip and start at 1, 2, 3, number 4 wasn't counted. So all of a sudden, we're going to have a set of pi. So we're going to do this all the way to the end of the piano. And at the end, it's going to say a word or a couple of words. I did it most of the way once before, but I'm so much all over the place. I'm trying to slow down. I'm 3 while someone is 4 at the door. Stop knocking. I can't get there right now. I'm busy. But it's easy for you to knock me out, and can't you wait? You're making my mind work for nothing, thinking that you're waiting at the door. But you are waiting at the door. And you came for a viable service of your own. So you wait within your own time. Grover Cleveland, 27 is 3 times 3 times 3. The prestation of the creation, of cutting the worm, the sperm of God in half and splitting him up. And then taking the God, the worm, and making something extra, adding the fourth element into it. Now you got 3 of the same God split up into 3 different ways, mixed in with 1 of 4, 2 of 3, or 2 of 3 because of the eggshells, the jack of cards. He's wearing these little things. Those are all the heads for each of the 3. And they manipulate each of the 3. 1 in the water world, 1 down by your nuts and your hips, and they manipulate you. You're going to go back to heaven because you're the original strand. They can't make you out an O because who's going to pass on through? 9 by 4, 36. Why is 9 and 4? Because you got the 4 corners. You're not coming in with half a leg missing. You're not coming in if you're missing the corner, because then you'd be Y. And Y has it all open. You need 2 Ys to create an egg. You get 2 tails. The tail of the story is the fatale. T-A-L. L-A. La 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 la. Do re mi. Where do you want to go with this? Back to the piano? Back to Grover Cleveland? And Jesus is the spirit of 76. He's the reason Mars and Earth do not have you in it, because he is of every one of us. He doesn't need the you. The only thing he needs in here is the Christ, because that's what's in us. We've been X'd out. X became 24. 24 is in the 3rd world. That's not fair if X in the alphabet becomes 24. We're going to have to look at other alphabets, because X means somebody got stamped on top of us. 9 has the shrimp, still in our head, and 6 is the man. Who changed everything around? So there's no U, but there's an A and an R in Mars, and there's an A and an R in Earth. Mr. and Mrs. Spirit, Mr. Demons, Mrs. Spirit. How are you, Mr. Spirit? Oh, and Mr. E, because Earth says E-A-R-T-H, and Mars doesn't have an E because there ain't no electronics. Mars is the storage center for the mind that runs by Jesus Christ. So that's why the man is on the moon, because the communication with Mars is through our moon and through the moons of Mars. Don't you see? Because I am sometimes blind myself. I'm afraid to forget of what I can actually do not know at the actual moment until I think of getting it, and then I get it. And then I say it, and if it makes sense, and then I know it. But if it doesn't make sense to me, even though you're here, it's not a break time, break, and make it make sense. No. Find out by yourself that it makes sense. See where you made your mistakes yourself. See how the tail leads into the future because someone's holding it from the back. If he's still holding it, you're okay. But when he drops the tail on the whale, when there's no more Ellie behind you, the elephant mind that is in the biggest of all areas in this world, it's just a bubble that grows and grows. It's little bubbles upon big bubbles upon big bubbles. And no matter what you do because of the energies, it just keeps repeating the bubbles. She's farting all the time. She's sending energy all the time. Grover Cleveland, 22 and 24. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 4 is 8. 4 by 4 is 16. P&H Pharmaceuticals. Jesus is 7 and 6, which is 55 of both worlds, because he was created here in all 3 worlds. 5, 5, 5, the same way as the Mayans created. Did you know that there's 2 presidents right now at the age of 90? Did you know that each team never reached the center field until they go home? So because you don't reach the center field and each team is 5 behind, FOX 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 added equals 45. You only get 45. So there's 10 that's missing. So 2 Bushes are in the area to, how can I say this? Jimmy Carter is 89 years old. He was born in 77. No, that was his term of August. He was born in 24. He's going to be 89 years old this year. 89. George Bush, he just turned 89. Okay? Now, when they turn around and go to 98, they have not spent their number. Meaning 89, 98, they went nowhere. 8 times 9 and 9 times 8 is 72. They're even. They're home. But if they go to 90, the 0 goes to 6 and we start another cycle. So he stops at 89 because the minute you finish 89, you're at 90. You started 90. You don't want to work into 90. You work into 90. You work into the year you're by 19,001. You finish off 1998. You put away all your books. Your government gives you all your taxes. Boom, bang. You have the year 2000. 9 months later, 39 weeks of pregnancy happens and the Twin Towers fall down. They're both going to be 89. Bill Clinton, if I have to check him out one more time, well, Monica Lewinsky surely did. Bill Clinton, okay, is going to be 67 years old. And W. Bush is 67, so you have 6-7 of Christ, 6-7 of Christ, and the 90 days of 11/11. What is the 90 days of 11/11? It is from 277 days, or the birth in two worlds of 7 and 7. I'm trying to figure it out. Yes, and there's 90 days. There's 90 days. There's 90 days. There's 90 days between November 16th and Valentine's Day. 45 and 45. Exactly even on the 45-yard line of each field. One fox on one side, the other red fox on the other side. 10 yards in between for the 10 worlds. And they're set right now. They're at 90. Valentine's. The middle of Valentine's Day is January 1st, December 31st. It would be 45 away. Now there's 10 yards. You're on the angle where the nickel is to come on home. Something has to be changed. I don't know, but these are the two ages. 6 and 7. 6 by 7 is 42. 6 times 7 is 42. 6 and 7 is 13 is 55. Remember I told you 55? Well, if you go both on the 45 and each go 5 forward, you're now both in center field, dead on the line. And the referee's going to come out because he has the 1 yard on each side because he has 2 feet on you. And he ends the game right there. And this is this year because they can't go to next year. As of February, March, April, May of next year, they will be 90. They would have surpassed. But no one has a birthday between now and Valentine's Day of February 14th. No one has that birthday. They don't have that birthday. No, they don't have that birthday. Is that what you asked me? Did I have that birthday? So right now it's 90 days next week to Valentine's Day. It's 45 days to the end of the year. They reached almost to the midfield, and you don't want to reach the midfield because the guy sticks out his hand, he slaps it, the game's over. Isn't that what a high five when it's all over, when you do something good for the team, but you only shake hands at the end of the game and you're not shaking hands with your team? Usually you hug your team. Hug and hold. There's no you in Earth and Mars because 3 times 4 and 3 plus 4 equals 12. 1 and 2 is 3. December becomes an added of the 3 months. We are not running a 300-day system. We are running like a 100-day system in this world, or very, very small. The cycle is very, very small. I don't remember what it is, but when you work on something and look for it deep enough, you will find it. But for now, I am choosing to go on. So now you have 2 90s, 2 67s. So when you make the design to come into the world and you want to make, this is what you have to do. This is how you make it move. Here's 5 and 5. Comes up here, right in here, this name, boom. You go this way, Mark Roden, this way, this way, this way, and then you drive back this way. But here you flip this around. This, okay, will flip around and sit halfway between this, and this one will flip around, creating the 3 worlds. This is the time. There's 67. That's where the 55 route is. Where's the 55 route? Is it in Chicago? Chicago? Is it in Boston? Chicago, Boston, George Washington Bridge? Or is it George Washington on Mount Rushmore? Because it was the rush. It was the rush that everybody had. It was the rock. It was the pearl. Okay? It was the rough of the dog. It was the rough. The rough. We were golfing in the rough. It was the first 9 and then the second 9. Because the first 9 and the second 9, one was in the head working, the other was trying to concentrate. You had 9 and 9, and you couldn't even figure out what to do because you were so upset with everything else because you couldn't handle to see what the reality of life actually is. George Bush. Clinton is 67. And next year when they reach 68, 68 is the number of man. If you take Moses and his new number of multiplication is 48, 8 times 6 is 48. We have man of heaven as Moses. We multiply it by 47. And I didn't finish the Halloween thing because it's next week and it's 90 days. And it has to happen on a football field. because a football field is one linear of the football itself, which is the whole complete of what this planet is all about. So it has to happen, and everybody's taking sides, and there's someone in the middle to make sure the game goes straight. They got coaches on each side. It's this weekend. And Chicago, Minnesota, up there, this is what happened. It could be, I'm just telling you what happened in Colorado. If the Niagara breaks, if the Niagara Falls breaks, what does she do? She lifts up from the bottom an Atlantis that separates all the islands of the north, middle, west of the continent of the below of where I am. The pigskin is what it's about. When the pig lies down into the sun and prays to God, his two noses stick up like this. And he says, Dr. Mario, which tunnel would you like to go in? You notice the noses are on different angles? Because if they were like this, it's the same thing. If it was like this, it's the same thing. But it's like this. How perfect is the thumb? Which way are we going? We use the same 2 and 2 fingers of beta. We use the same 2 and 2 fingers of beta. Ganja. Ganja, my friends. If you smoke it right, it will revitalize the mind. She grows like green, but if you smoke too much, it's like suffocating the other green that is there. So you must know how to smoke. Just a certain bit at a time, my friend. Take a talk. You can get lost in the sun, my friend. But just a little more talk. And if you're walking and talking, you use more energy. You exalt yourself, so then you can take another talk. But then you have to wait and check to see how high the balloon has got. Because if it gets too high, you pass the other side. Hey, where'd you go? The line has broken. Oh, there you are. How are you? I'm fine. You're looking bright today. Yes, I'm glowing all the time. Grover Cleveland, George Bush, and the 90 Days of Valentine's. Why 90 Days of Valentine's? Because when you spend Valentine's Day and you play blackjack, Valentine number is 102. Who is it? One time? One time. Deja vu. A Valentine equals 102. Blackjack. When you total the aces and you count the aces 11 and not 1, you have 102. When you have 101, when you count them as 1, you get one more Dalmatian. Now you have 102. Do you understand? The ace dot is in the center, playing from the 5-hole. All the time. All the fucking time. Number 1 is in the middle. And you know why he's in the middle? Because he's always alone. And everybody surrounds him. So he's in the middle and has all the control. And he serves everybody right. Because if he pushes one mind away at one thought, it'll be somebody else's mind that'll come back to pay you back. But because you haven't endured this in your lifetime and everything is so beautiful and great, how can you actually know what you know? From the difference if you don't have the difference, but of what you see of others, but then you'll be judgmental. So how upon that'll become good for you or not, how are you going to judge it? And why are you the judge? You must take a standpoint to be a judge. You have to understand that you have to leave the situation, but be there all in your mind to be able to decipher the situation. Who is asking me? Are you okay? I think I'm okay. I hope I'm okay. Spoke to my brother. I asked him. I said, I'm okay. Do you know when somebody says, am I okay, they're not okay? Because that's the lingo. He's asking if he's okay. He's not okay. I'm going to tell you something. And I don't want to say this. And I really don't want to tell you this. So I'm not going to say it at all. But you know what? For myself, what do I feel? Oh my God, I'm just so relaxed. I can be very relaxed. But in order to keep the door open, you have to exalt yourself, like forcing your lungs apart, spreading the door open, so that when you start to think there's more of that, what can you say? The doors aren't locked. First it goes like this, the door, and then you bring it to this, the door. Here's your X. And then once you bring it up, now you're connected. Now you're crosswired, you don't understand? You bring it up, you're connected. You go from 24 Grover Cleveland to 22 Grover Cleveland, from being connected to taking away what the X is all about. Grover Cleveland. I didn't check what president he is, but it's still 90 days. And who's judging me? I've been judged. I was judged 2 days ago. It was the sickest thing I've ever seen. Sick, and it's not the first time it's happened to me. It was the sickest thing. You don't want to be judged that way. Where the minute you lift your head to say something, and your head goes back in. And you lift your head again to say something to answer the question, but then in the middle of your answering the question, they interrupt you and say, that's not what it is. So you ask, can I ask a question to you? And then he tells you what you could and you can't ask. I said, I'm going to tell you what you want to know, what's in my heart. He says, okay, tell me. Then when I tell him I love him, and it's okay, don't worry that he had a misunderstanding within his own mind is my vision, and I understand that he thinks differently, and that it's his choice, and it's okay, go for it. But now we got a problem. He's pushing my life around. He wants me to sort of push out from the picture. Why, I don't know. Because he wants me to be directed. He wants me to take my mustache off and take the family out because the other ones are taking them out. But I want to take them under the willow tree. I want to talk to them and rub their back, but all they try to discuss with me is the way I dress and how my mustache is. Where did everything come from that it made a difference? Hi-ho, hi-ho. Or the Smurfs. Papa Smurf, Papa Smurf. They got all kinds of crazy get-ups. I mean, you see Bart Simpson, his mouth opens up like this. I mean, it's like machines. Those robots are machines. We're beautiful. We know how to look at each other. They even gave us a nose to play on the G string. You know why? A nose is 5. And when you ring the bell down there, that's 7. And you know what happens when you ring the bell down there? You shove in 9 and you get out 10. You're 1 egg. And the 9 fish that swims in, that's got to divide himself up in each part of man's body so he can continue on in the voyage into the yellow submarine. Always rejuvenating himself, because every time you piss and you change your water, you are getting rid of the thought adjusters and thinkers. They're no longer, they turn black in your mind and yellow and you piss them out. The element from within your blood. So they go in and out, and that way we can keep our minds fresh. But when we get older, or when we become unkind in a certain way, automatically they're in the ocean and they're moving and they're trying, but they can't figure it out themselves, and it's really not your fault anymore, and now you became sick. Until you can straighten out your mind, or until people stop pushing you around. Or you're just destined because you can't understand all the deaths in this world because everybody is starving and they're breaking the land up to take oil out of the ground, and they know there's better communication than that. We send spaceships into the skies and we run satellites for thousands and hundreds of years. And they're still alive and fresh and they're changing parts. 2, make 180. 67 and 76. 7 and 6 is 13. 1 and 3 is 4. 7 and 6 is 13. 1 and 3 is 4. Who was number Mr. 44 this year? 44 and 44 because he's 13 from Herbert Hoover Dam. 93. Crustacean. Man didn't come in at 93. I knew something was wrong. I know crustacean. Crustacean. Man came in at 4. He had to come in at 4, no? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 balls, 3 strikes. They own this and this and this. 4 balls and 3 strikes. 4 balls and 3 strikes. 1, 2, 3, 4. So man is 4. He doesn't come from crustacean, because what he does is he gets the crustacean and then he splits it. He splits it. And then what happens here? Man becomes his own 5. He becomes his own 5. This is that starlight in between the Pontiac. He becomes his own 5 because with 4, okay, the 4 balls, when you put the 4 balls together, what happens? You get a house for, you get a space for free. The bingo space. See the bingo space? See, when you play bingo, the 5 is free.
Well, now this is the 5-hole. This is the 5-hole. It'll always be the 5-hole. Can never change but to be the 5-hole. It's what goes in the 5-hole. You take your one hand like this, you shove it in the 5-hole, and now you got your 3-up and shit. Okay? That's your pin needle. The shit around you is all these same information coming in through your finger. Now, either they put a beanie pin on it to make sure you poke your blood, so now you can have the DNA of God in this thing, right? But this might be the pineal gland, and it might be the other, what they call reptilians, what they made of us so they can control our brains inside these heads. Because they already know it's the shrimp and the scallop. They already know it's the sperm that's in your head and he's doing all these things. And if you're laughing at me, keep on laughing because I can see the light. Okay, I can see the light. I can see that light. I can see that light. Oh yeah, there it is. There it is, right there, guy. Right there, guy. Did you get out of my head? Look, he was in my head before. Now he came out to see me. Oh, he wants to see you too. You see? Look, 2 LEDs. So am I 2 or am I 4? I'm 4. Do you know why? Because it's 2 this way and it's 2 this way. And then on the outside, they bobble a line and they make an eye. They turn these into eyes. How do they turn them into eyes? Here. I turn it, you see the balls? I put them all into eyes. Now they look like butterflies. Okay? The game goes into here. This finger goes up. Okay? They put a beanie on it, a lock, so it's across in your finger so it can't come down. That'll be your marriage finger to life. These are discs. This is the way the machines work. Okay? So I have to describe it the way you can see it on paper and say, okay, I see it. So you see the way the balls curl up? When you pull that finger back down, they automatically lock on your finger. So no matter what you do, you can never get out of that lock for life. And here's your seagulls. 2 eyes, 4 eyes, 6 eyes, 8 eyes. That's beta watching you because the queen in this game has all her eyes, but the king does not, and the jack is missing 2. 8, 7, 6. So you make the game in between over here. 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do you appreciate? You got 20 in here. 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, and 2 here. But wait a second, this is going up and down. And because it's going up and down, it's not separated. So when it goes up and down, even though we gave 2 here, we gave 2 here. Okay? I give 2 here. She gives 2 to me. So we have 2 and 8. 8 and 2. Time heaven. 2 is B. 8 is T. T is 2. And H is 8. Time heaven, 28, the 28 days of the moon. They shine the light so bright, you see wiring in the air. They blow up the wires. It's absolutely nothing. When it's over, the wires fall down, and there's no light on it, and there's no moon. But when it's running the moon, they light it up, and they hold it in on one side, and it lights up, and it blows all the light, and it looks like it's glowing, but you can't see the other side because the light is too strong. And if you do see it, it's a webbing. And all you have to do is blow up the webbing, let it hang down. Do you remember the fisherman that was on the moon from the commercial and he was letting his feet hang down while he was fishing? He was fishing for what? I found a new number. I found a new number for Jesus. 2016 is 1. Look at this. Man, 2 beta, and 5. 5 and 2. Of parts of the 7, 52 times 38, creation of man. Plus man being recreated in this world, 38. You have 2014, 83 or 38. Or 38 is Hoover Dam. That's, no, sorry, that's 5335. It is Hoover Dam because the letters add up to 83. 0 is 1, 5, and 6. That's what goes in there. 1 is 1. 1, 0 is, that's what I said. It's 5. And maybe it's is it a Y or an X? There's added thoughts that I come up with. I want to just leave that out. So 1 gives you the 1, 5, and 6, A, E, and O. The 2 gives you automatically 6 and 8. But it shouldn't give you 6 and 8 yet. It should give you 4 and 6, the first 2. 2 plus 2, 2 plus 2. So now it would give you, let me just see what it was. What was I thinking? 2 plus 2. Wow. You see, when you go to sleep at night, you see that? The hourglass does not tilt over. You don't lose much sand. At the beginning, you use much sand, so you get a little older faster. But once you get at night, you lose no sand. So no sand goes in, no energy burns, and no energy gain, and you start to get older and older. But when you come into life, depending how you tilt your pineal glands, is what will bring you for your sand to last the longest. And that's about this angle. So if you want to live longer, you must be able to balance your pineal glands. But the problem with that is now that we have the pyramid, you see the center pyramid with the clouds all over here, and the beach and the boardwalk? That's the thing. We're not living perfect lives. And perfect life doesn't mean you need to stop everything. It's just you have to know the limits. So we're getting old faster. We're tilting a little more, and they get us excited. You want to know how they get us excited? Do you want to know how they're killing us? You want to know how? Step right up, ladies and gentlemen. Just step right in. It's absolutely free. Don't worry about anything. We'll take care of anything. We have free service, free room, free board, and everything is on special and ready to go. 200, 1010, 2101010 CB codes. Remember CB codes. There are 200 of them. Take out the ones that are not there. They belong to the elite Rothschilds. Why Roth? O and R is gold in French. T and H is time heaven. T and H is ETH. It's the electronic transmission to this heaven through the two worlds. That's all it is. 90, okay? 90 of the two bushes is 180. Now we get 180, and we get 51 years old for Obama, okay? And so we have 1, 3, we have here. Did you follow what I said? 51. And let me see this again. What happened here? Okay, there was 90 days to Valentine. And there's 2 presidents at 90. See, I can calculate it on paper so I can see what's going to happen before it happened. Otherwise, I'm too late and I just got to calculate what everybody knows. So you got 90 and 90. And now it equals 180. They're the oldest. In the Jewish religion, the others who are the other age, they have to wait because they're the same age. But Barack Obama is the one in office. So he's like the director general of all. He makes all decisions. So you add 51 of his age to 90 and 90 of the other's age, makes the total of you see it? BCA. What does that mean, BCA? 3 times 2 is the back door. You see 321? 321? 321, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 4 is what it makes. You turn this around, it's, excuse me, 321, 321, 321, 2, 3, 1, and 1, 3, 2 equals 363. Because I think Jesus is not born under 7, okay, really. He's born of the 7th world, from into the man's world of 8. So he's not that, he's 32, and he comes in at crestation 6. Crestation 6, I don't know what it means, but crestation 6. So it's 363, which makes 9 and 9, and 18 and 18 is 27, and 27 makes the number of the sun. You see, I have another equation where man has to be number 5 and not C like on the piano. Man, something about the I did a thing from the pool balls, but where are we right now before we get lost? 32, 32, 32. Adam and Eve, before they left, the cat DNA, listen to this, DNA 19, cat 24, dog 62, 72. Moon in man's head. Man's head is the moon. He doesn't need a moon. He's got a moon in his head. He's the skull bones of the light. The porous of the bones is the energy of the light. It's the sponginess that gives you the thought. So if the bones become brittle, you cannot save your thought. Your thoughts are in your bones. Everything has to live. The bones are not there just to help you walk. They have to grow and they have to know. So they have to do something other than just sitting there half the time, because for them, it's not work at all. It's only for you and your heart, but it's not their heart. You're the power engine that makes them go and makes them grow. And that's why it happens that way. So if you become brittle and gray, and then you become old and cruddy, and some of the ways that you are not being taken care of, you have to understand that somehow your thoughts within your own mind were brittle and gray from day one, the time you came. But anyways, Noah, 64 times 49, 31, 36. He comes in on the Pacific, and he goes to short line rail. Noah, 64 cycles. 8 times 8 is 64. Do not count 9 and 9, because the worm lives and goes back again. Valentine is the worm. You understand? 8 by 8 is 64. I'm not going 9 and 9, because 9 is the worm. It's the DNA. It's you forever. So you don't take it off. So 49 is half of 50. 49 by 64. We can go by 39 also, but that's the 3 parts of the world. I need to make a completion, so I'm going full cycle here. So we take Noah, 31, 36, which would be 67. The spirit of 67 comes out of Noah. Then we take Moses. Instead of doing 50 times the stars, now I do 48 times 47, and Moses is born, and 2256 is the date time, and it equals to 78, October and September, holidays for the Jews. Jesus is born 32 times 47 time. Why? Because he came into the 8 by 8 house, in which is owned by Noah. That's what he knew, 2 by 2. He split up the 8 4 times of Neptune, and he had 2 by 2. Neptune faces Atlantis. Now you have the time of 31 and 36. 31 is go to jail. This is go to jail. Okay, it's the 31st property. 36 more. You would take yourself all the way down to B&O. That's where we are this year. Crustacean face, built in this world by a face. Somebody in this world, we're called face because our Facebook is because somebody built our face in this world. 31 is 13, 31, 31, 13, just like Halloween, and there's a distance of 18. Why? Because when you meet at the nose, it's 9, and my nose to your nose is 9, and then because the nose is on each other's nose, the nose is on each other's nose, and your nose to my nose, your nose to my nose, and I got 2 nostrils from it. Your nose, I put my nose is down, is over here. My nose to your nose, it's going to create the big X, you see? See him screaming at you? See the crab claws on both ends? He's got the middle, now he's got the 2 sides, he's got the hourglass. This is why Jesus is born 32 times 47, not using the number of yesterday, because he could have been born in any one of them. It doesn't matter if I make a mistake of 50 or 80 years, as long as the consistency between numbers is the same. All we need is the consistency, because it's the consistency that counts at the end. Sometimes it really doesn't matter which number we use, but I use this number because it shows me a benefit in expression. That's 50. Instead of saying the child of birth is inside, okay, it shows that, where is it? Wow. See 50? A and D is in the 50 hole. God sets up, he takes away 1, he throws him out, he puts him back into the fish tank. Okay? He goes to number 3 and he borrows 2 pieces of earth, water and sand. He makes a mud pie on each side of him and he jumps in the center, okay, because he's a beaver, and he goes up in the center, and there's this big hole. So the sand freezes on the outside. So the sand freezes on the outside while he's building between here and here and here and here, but he starts all over here in the center. He's always in the center. So no matter where he goes to work, hey, where are you going to work today? I'm going out east. So he leaves out east. He lives out east. He goes here. I'm going to go out west. I'm going to go north, south. Who the hell cares? You know what I'm saying? But all in all, wherever he goes, he's always going the same distance. Jesus is born in 1504. 1 times 5 times 0. 0, when there's a 5 there, you can put another 5. Why can you put a 5? Because the passageway through the falls is going to divide the falls. So you divide the falls. When you divide the falls, you get x10. How do I know it's 10? Because I told you. It's 5, 10, 15, 20. X becomes 10, telling me you're at the second yardsticks of the 5, which is the 10. It's a total of 10, but it's only the 5 because we only count the 5. A, B, C, B, A, 3, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. This is my 5. It's my butterfly. When we get to the piano, we got to stretch it out because the piano is more keys. So we have to crisscross over. Why do I crisscross over? Because my 1, 2 only goes for this. But it continues right onto the piano, but there's 2 houses and the black keys are inside. There are 36 black keys, and the creation of the face in this world that is Jesus Christ that runs under number 74, 1 times 3, 1 plus 3, because Earth and Mars do not have the letter U, meaning they do not have the hat of the God from upstairs. They have to ask to come into the house of God when this is over. They have to ask permission, but they think if they win this house and prove their way is better, then God will take them, but he cannot. He'll only take 1/3 of your story, and whatever you don't know, you'll remember 10 times as bad, because all your life for a certain period of time, you will be bombarded. But it wouldn't make a difference, because you're going home to your evil world anyways. You never hear it to start with. You just mixed the blood. You just turned a pile of shit. You made it into a game between lovers and money huggers. That's all that it was. Shake his hand. You did well. We did well. The people suffered. They left 80 years. But look at all the people up here now that died. Look at them all. They're smiling. Don't you see them? You're breathing them in. Whoever you want to contact in a certain text, you will bring them in. I know, frankly, that field built this place from the ground up in the stones of the hills of Campanay Brith in 19 somewhere near 40. I know that my Auntie Gertie, who knitted all her life and knew how to put a cuff, was knitting up the matrix so man can live here. My Auntie Sadie, the Sadie spirit, the tallest one of all, so she could take her energy and just put it down on her 2 sons. Because her husband, who she could rely on, his name was Elion, and he moved on. The scratch of the pearl in my family. The ha, the V of life. The wing of Lewis. Ray Lewis, always in the match. He's ready to go. Here comes Muhammad. Muhammad. Could be me, right? Dad, you calling me Muhammad again? I'm not doing anything wrong. Seems like everybody doing something wrong. His name Muhammad. Dad, it don't work that way. Ali, sit down. Ali, sat down. Ali, sit down. Oh, you sit down. Alisa. Alisa sits down. And a child is born. Who said Christ was just male? He had to be the black and white widow. He had to come in and sperm up with God's red and his red of the ground, because they both had red and they both had something to do in time. To read, to get the scratch red. the power cycle, the elements, the A's, splitting apart, all different kinds, and the hourglass, sitting here with the genie bottle. What is the genie bottle? It's from the top down to the middle of the Eiffel Tower, where everybody walks around and you can see there's two eyes, and there's a vacancy and a place to pass. So you have ace between two, and that's 1 and 2, and that's basically the best place to see. If you do it in a picture of 9 and cut up your worm a little bit more, and each worm cuts up for 3, we'll be able to make a circle out of ourselves, and we'll roll away, and no matter what we do, we can stop on a dime, because at certain times, everything just goes flat. And I guess it's a much easier. You saw this? This 8 and this 8 can look over the other 2 8s. Hey, push over. It becomes 0, 8, 8, 8. Because the 2 of these, the double 0 in roulette, is because 6 and 8 are 1. Okay? But 6 and 7 are not 1, and 6 and 7 reflect 3, 4, 6, 7. The size of the diameter of the moon. 3 and 4 is 7. 7, 6, 7. 7 times 6 is 42. 7 and 6 is 13. 55. Back to the center. Back to the center. Center, center. Back to the center. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Back to the center. 10, 4 CB codes. Back to the pool ball. 11 and 3. Pool ball. 2 and 12. But that pool ball doesn't work. The 12 pool ball goes with the 4. The 13 pool ball goes with the 5. So all of a sudden, the 5 is outside the house. He's in between the 2 houses. That's why he's outside my marking. So you see, it became that I made a mistake and I went 4 rows here and 3 rows over here. But it's going to work out 2 rows. It's going to work out. Because there's some sort of 313, 323 that's going to let it work out. And then, well, whatever it is, it's like looking up in a dictionary and what do you think it means? She crocheted, my mother knits, knits back the universe. So Jesus comes in the back door. But not only that, the 43rd cycle is right now, and the 36 is of creation. 36 by 32, it is the back door. It's the back door. See? 4 balls, 3 strikes. That's how baseball works. So when you have 4 balls, 3 strikes, okay, you go onto the field. You can't get your 3 strikes is not good. You need 6 strikes. You need 6 strikes, but 6 strikes and 4 balls, you're beyond base. You hit your 10. But you're going to get your foul balls, but don't count your foul balls. You're allowed 3 and 4. Or you're allowed 2 and 3. That's it. You both have to go down 1. 4 balls and 2. 3 strikes and 3 balls. You have to go down from 4 to 3 and from 3 to 2. So now you're 3, 2, 2, 3, 55, 2 and 3. I never thought of that before. Wow. So you have 3 balls. You have 4 balls, 3 strikes, or you have 3 balls, 2 strikes, or you have 3 balls and you struck out. Well, you struck out and you had 3 balls, your balls fell out, you have no more balls. Now you're just out. It makes 1 circle. So now you got 2 strikes. Let me figure this out. He's got 2 strikes, 1 here and 1 here. He's got 2 strikes. I made him an X over here and I made him an X over here. Now, if he wants to hit, he holds it up like this. It becomes a sponge and he knocks it out of the hair. But if it's like this, he's running to first base. Let's go. I've got my 3 legs and my 2 hands and my head. Here's his back leg. Do you know why this is your back leg? Because once you run over a spot, you cut the light. You cut the light from that area, and it's in your number because you went over that spot, regardless if your tail dragged in the snow. And I have a funny feeling that cats' communication, the cat in this world, the circle of life, is because that's what they're doing to us. They're scratching something new, engraving something new into our heads. That's what the cats are about. And the dogs also, because I just made a new discovery. It's just amazing. I'm not sure where it is. But first of all, dog, cat, creation, life, You see the X and the V, that would be Grover Cleveland. The crestation is Jesus, because Jesus went in between. The reason they split those two numbers, because number 23, he took from the beta world, and he made a crestation of his own from the beta world. Okay? And since the whole beta world is alpha world, you get to go back to alpha world if you want, or you go back to the evil other world of choice. So Z is the dog, it means the dog. X is the cat. Crestation, okay, is the taking the two and mixing them up and making crestation in a V, which means putting it in the V, which is the whatever you want to call it, the torch of life, which is in the kiln dryers of the female of beta inside a female. You see the beta is next because you need beta's eggs in order. You need beta and her eggs. And then you need the N is the cross that goes on top of her DNA. And the M is what's next to M and N and O. When the N goes, the M goes, and your M is connected one leg. You ever see the M, what it looks like? This is what it looks like. Can you follow it? It's a circle, okay? There's one M over here. You deserve. My video doesn't upload. You deserve to see it the right way. And I show you the right way. Just give me 2 seconds. I hope I get this the right distance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. We'll draw the line one earlier. I put an extension on my lines, but you always want to make an extension on your lines because if it breaks and you want to fix it, sometimes you have to extend it and you won't be able to, and you need to connect it to another world because you go nowhere with one eye. You have one eye, things come in. Where do they go? You need another eye to open up to take in the information and then to create and to pitch out. But where do they pitch out the second eye? So I took this. Oh, and I can do so many things to this. I can turn it into backgammon. I can turn it into Monopoly. So what was I doing? I was making a circle and showing you about M. Okay, here it goes. Here goes M. Come on, M. Whoa. Wow. Oh, that was really cool, eh? Okay, so now we got this. We got that. And we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so what do I have to do? I was dragging it out this way. I wish I had curly hair like that. Okay, now why I did that, okay, is because not really working out. You see what it is so far? You see the M, the M, the M. So now what you have is you have a body. Now if you really want to do this, you can put the M here and the M here. Then you can put the M here and the M here. And then you can take from here and put a B. And then from here, you put a V, you end up with the fox. You end up, if you really want, just So he's standing over there. Hey, I'm the star key. What are you waiting for? Let's make a move. Come on, I'm the star key. Let's make a move. Let's make a move. Let's make a move. I'm not finished, but I have something to say before I get tired and all runs away. Hickory dickory dock. The mouse ran up the clock. The mouse ran down. The clock ran out. And Hickory had no dickory for his sock. Change it up a little bit. So you saw the M and it had the I in the center and the buoy, it holds 1111. The reason it holds 1111 like this is because it gives you the strongest angle, okay, and you have the same vision to watch out for each other. This one looks out to here, this one looks out to here. So this is where you are. You put your finger in that. You only can have for 5 fingers, and that's the bird. You see the bird? The bird's eye and the big mouth with the little guy on top. You see the little guy? Or the bird's looking this way, but it's not. It's a bear. See the bear? See, he's got his little thin face and he's running out. The other one's running this way. Can I get a little drink? Silly me. I got coffee. How old is it? The coffee? Well, it depends how long it stood on the shelf, you know. I don't know, maybe 6 weeks old? 6 weeks good enough? She get better if she's 6 weeks old? Now we were talking about the 90. Valentine's Day is 90 days away. The reflection of 45-45 split between January and November, and January and February is exactly 45 days. There's 2 presidents that are going to be 90 years old. They're in their 89th year. It's 9 times 8 that was created from the piano. How was it created? 1 and 7 got together, and 2 and 7 got together. It means they met in the laboratory, and they jumped in with each other, and they became a DNA of some sort, and they became 3. They mixed up your kind of DNA for a new person, and you got the 4th one of 2 and 2. You got your own 2 strands, and they got their own 2 strands, and you get a piece, because one of the pieces you jump through the hole. One of the pieces lands in a netting, and he stays there for life. The other one goes through the 9th gate, which is the 9 is the 9th gate, like down there. Is that where we were supposed to come from, or did they just drop us here the first time like Avatar? Noah. Monopoly, go to jail, and then short line, because that's all it is short line. There is no anywhere. There's 3 days and 1 day and 3 days. That's all there is. There's 3 days and 1 day and 3 days, and in the piano they run it that way because it's at the 52, so they run half of it. So it's usually 6 days, 1 day, and 3 days. Okay, so I'm not sure what the end result is of that, but obviously we must be losing 4 days for sure. No, 3 days. We're losing 3 days for sure. I bet you in 40 years, okay, it's actually 10 years. So in 50 years, it makes 13 years. Oh my God, gentlemen, said there's somebody watching me that told me I'm at the 37-yard line. I've just turned 50. I'm at the 37. I need 13. But the thing is, the French roulette is 37 markings. 13 and 37 create one of the numbers of the creation of one of our supermen. I'm not sure which one, whether it's Jesus. I don't remember, but take you, I, me. Take my mind, my word for it, from my mind. Where are we now? So it was 37. 37, 50 yards, 37 go away. 37 go away. 37 go away. Earth triangle. Go away, Earth triangle. Crestation of the 7th gate. When 1 and 2 got together, it became 7 and 3. It became December, January, February. Aries of the sun, birth of the sun. 1-3 is October and December. It's the same thing as January and March. 16 plus 26 is 42. When they say the king of the crown comes, he extends his arms to both sides. And when he captures it, he becomes 2 for 1, 10 and 4. He becomes the man with the iron fist who holds the rod, who holds the rods that holds the circles of life together. And in one swift move, he can move the rod and take away the circles of life and let us get back to square one. 43 times 47, 2021. 32 times 63 is also the time. 32, why do I choose 32? Because in roulette, it's backdoor, and it equals to one of the expressions, a letter or a number, okay? When you say a number, the word in the number, the first initial, is going to say something about it. So I can use the first initials, and I use that. I have to find a reality of a situation that was created before, which means whoever put the letters together to start with, he did it for a reason, because they called it a syllable. A syllable. George Bush, 90. Bill Clinton. Barack Obama, 2 and 15. Oh my God, isn't that what I just said? 215, oh my God. 512 memory, souped up armored jet. This guy is going to get inaugurated. Wow. Watch out for Hoover Dam and watch out for that. I don't know, but all the Flintstones all over. You have Valentine's, which makes it 50. You know what 50 is? Why Valentine's and what makes it 50? Because when you hit the 50 spot, you're in the middle of the field and you're falling again. And you're falling and you're falling and you're falling. And that day is on November 16th. And I didn't make it up. I took it from the numbers. 90 and 90 is 180. Plus 51 is 231. Instead of ABC, it's now BCA. I told you it came under CB. Valentine, November 16th. Nova, the Nova story. The V of life, omega N. N stands for two A's. It's A and A on top of each other. This 14 is the totality of what the DNA strand is between A and M. U equal to 14, and that's N, which creates O. Land. L-A-N. 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 Land. Land-O. Land-O. Back in the water world. Jimmy Carter. J, 10, which actually means 15, because a J is a J and an E now. Okay? I usually say J with an A, but it's a J and an E, because the 10 value, okay, the 0 equals to 5. Doesn't equal anything else because they're only in one world. That's why. And there's only 4 worlds. When you go into the 20 world, it's 2 times 2. In the 30 world, it's 2 times 2 times 2. And in the 40 world, 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. And the 2 of Venus has separated herself all the way around the scope. Okay? The 8 is actually 4 2s. And everybody has to duplicate something. It's like putting it in a coffee machine. That's all it is, in a coffee machine. And the coffee is very good for you. Do you know why you need to drink the coffee? Because the coffee grinds, cleanse your pearl in your head so you can think better. That's why you go faster. It's because you can't handle as fast as you're going because you're communicating so much better. You needed to have your coffee. Now you're okay because it scratches the lens. You don't care if it scratches the lens. The more scratch, the more it is. The more lines, the more she scratches. The more she scratches, the more the vibration. She'll only scratch in the way she dances. $50 years. Okay? Don't you see the banker in the middle of the table doing this? The middle of Monopoly? 50 years. 50 times 40, the Monopoly board. 50 years, you play once a year, 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 of course, because that's when you do your taxes. Once a year, once a year, once a year. Well, you went around the Monopoly board. In 10 years, what goes by 10 years or 12 or 11 or 13? There's something about, maybe it's 7 and 6, but there's something that goes around in cycles around the Monopoly board that's going to move your man 2, 4, 3, 5, and you have to go all the way around the board, and that's going to count for 12 years, let's say. 12 by 12, 12 calendar dates for 12. So it counts for 12 years. So you go up 1 forward, up 1 forward. Every year, you go 1 forward. So in 40 years, it's only 40. But in 50 years times each property being 50 years old because the mortgage is paid twice in 50 years. Doesn't matter what's at the small part or at the big part what's still owed. The general thing is that the mortgage has been paid twice the amount. So the Monopoly board, you got to find a reason. And you can take it by piano. Center C. A, B, C, jump. Nor A, B, jump. A, B, jump. This. 2 here, and then 2 here. But these two are different, so you really have to start understanding what this one really does. Should I give it a 5? It's a thumbs up. It's one thumb. You know, what can it be? If it goes into the pi, everybody knows that turning around pi is 360 degrees. And since we're extending only to the outside, it becomes 20, 2, 4, 6, 8 plus the value of my thumb. So my thumb would be 2 times 4 times 6 times 8, 2 times 2, 2 times 2 times 2, 2 times 4, 2 times 6, 2 times 8. So 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 6 is 12. That's 20. And 2 times 8 is 16. It's 36. And that is the crustacean of the Valentine's Day, in which she is having her bat mitzvah this weekend, in the 90th of the 90th of the 89th, the 89th, and the 89th, and the 89th. And the reason for the 89th, if you take a look, and the reason for the 89th, if you take a look, is because God has his 2 worlds, and within one world, this is what he does. He has to take a ship over to the other side. And here's what he does. He takes his ship over to the other side. 1 and 7 in the piano. A, B, with a 7th gate. A and B for whatever the 7th gate is. And the 7th gate is most likely this one or this one. Or it's a 7th gate, but it's this one. 4 and 5. Why? I lost that answer today. 4, 7, and 5. The reason for it is there's 4 on the corners, but when you're guarded on the outside, okay, it's a world when you're guarded by 4 sides. But this is the side to the one world, the freedom world. And look, there's no guards on the outside. So that's 72 degrees, okay, is one angle. 72 times one angle. You have to multiply that by at least 8. It's 576. So there's more to a world that opens up beyond this. And our circle that we used to circle, it's always going to be the same. So yeah, we had this piano 1 and 7G, AG, BGs. When you add them together, it becomes here. This becomes the 9th fish, and this says open up the 8th gate, open up the 8th world. We got a 9 fish coming in. 1 and 9 is 10. 2 and 8 is 10. 11, 9. So this weekend, let's add them up. 2. 15, 17. Again, we got 17, that's the queen, and the 17 is on the 1 key. And the Z is on the 1 key. 17, 8, 8, 3, 2, 8, 3, 2, 7. 8, 3, 2, 7, 6. 8, 3, 2, 7, 6. 8, 3, 2, 7, 6. In this world, he was born to the 8th world. Why was he born to the 8th world? Because, if I understand correctly, he's born into the 6th world from the, how can I don't know how to say it, of the laboratory of creation of 23. Laboratory of the other world, the gateway. Remember I told you the gateway is always where the gateway, the 7 is the laboratory. Because then we can make it go into 6, or we can make it go into 8. Which one of the worlds? It has to be a laboratory from the beginning. You come from the hospital. Regardless of between your mother's legs, if no one ever told you about babies or anything, you know, you come from the hospitals. This is how they set it up. So when you come from the hospital, Labrador, what's happening in Labrador? I don't know. Why are you asking me? I'm busy doing something. Okay, so now number 38, which is Herbert Hoover creation of crustacean 3 and 8. 3 and 8 was created, okay, in the spirit of 7 and 6. 7 and 8 is 15, and 6 and 3 is 9. So that would be 6 and 9. So they created the 6 and 9. The laboratory is because 2 and 3 came in to do this. 2 and 3, and God's laboratory is 7 and 6. So 2 and 3 laboratory, no, 2 and 3 laboratory is 7 and 8. 7 and 8. 7 and 8 is the 2 laboratories. Okay, so 7 and 8 is the 2 laboratories, and and Earth and and Venus is what they use to either make us, okay, or and it's. Do you understand what I'm saying? Am I screwing you? 7 and 8. 7 and 8 come into the 7 and 3, 8 and 2. They both make 10. So they make perfect worlds. This one's at this end, the other one's at that end. There's communication in the center. They're both trying to work for the best of man, except one's trying to take advantage. So the odds on 8 and 6 is 7 and 6. Jesus gets this. No, the odds of man is 7 and 6. That's right. The odds of man is 7 and 6. The odds of man is 7 and 6. Because it's not 7 and 4. 7 and 4 is the Christ. It's the middle of that thing. But 7 and 6 becomes all the 13 cards. That's what I'm quite sure. Because man is 8-6 of the 9 birth into the 5 worlds. The 5 worlds is 5 and 9 birth. Einstein theory. 5-9 belongs to Einstein in this situation. We get 6-8-9. He gets 5-9. E-I-E-I-O. E and I and I and E. And that's why if you look at the Aleph, they got a line just like this. It's A, E, and I. The vowels, I can tell you right now, God has one vowel, plus he can make other vowels. He makes a vowel from the S. He can make a vowel from the T and H if they get together. He can get a vowel combinations with letters that'll sound like the vowel because they don't need it. So who owns actually the vowels? Because some of the letters, like C, sounds like an E to me. So at the same time, what I wanted to do, 5 and 13. Now, where did I get this from? I do not know. 5 is orange. 13 is orange and yellow. No, excuse me. 5 is orange. 13 is yellow and red. Doesn't that make orange? Isn't that funny the way the pool balls came out that way? And the letter M, when it sounds the E before it. And when you say M to love, the number 18 comes up, and all of a sudden it's the R letter for angel resident. And then when that comes up, the R sounds like AR, you have to put S for the spirit of the angel resident. So you now have 18 and 19 equals 37. And 37 is one of the numbers of how it all began. I'm going to be ending this video. Here's a little new picture I started. This is the Monopoly game, okay? I had to square off where all my trains were going. I had to find my angles. Now I'm going to go do the piano, but I hope I don't get mixed up and end up on Park Place. Oh, I forgot to tell you. We start on Pacific and we end on short lines. We have 4 spaces. Man lives right here, basically, somehow. Or maybe my picture is bigger and now he lives in the middle, but that's why my thing is you have to be half the board. No, you're half the board. You're not living the other half of this board. You're only living half the board. You're only living on one half. Because if you were living on the other half, you wouldn't be here. Raphael 7286 in the constellation of Pegasus. I'm hoping like anything. I wrote, see this? The 7th gate. You turn it over, it's got 7 both ways. It makes an X, but it does not complete the outside doors to the hourglass. It doesn't complete this door. 3 and 1 and 1 and 3 is always there because 1 and 2 go together and always create 3. So 3's go opposite of each other, and then 3's call themselves 3's, and then the other ones call themselves 1's because the original one that went into 3, he's in the center of these 2. He doesn't need to be anywhere because this one is going to live inside of the person that is born. So all he has to do is run your division over here in the middle of the board. These are the 7th gates. You're going into this world or into that world. If this gate has to open, all he has to do is put down this leg. Or is it maybe I did it upside down? Maybe all he has to do is lift the leg. That's why the 7's on an angle. Or maybe all he has to do is fall down. So if he falls down, let's see what happens if he falls down. If he falls down, See what happens if he falls down? He lets everybody out. You see the design that comes within this? He doesn't need any other design. You don't have to mark the N. Here's the N. It's the sideway door. Or is it? Which way do these open? Does it just open from here to here? I forget. Because if these turn, it turns right into here. But if you turn that into here, oh baby, a lot of water gonna come out. So there's still stuff. There's still stuff over here on Valentine's Day. The 90 days. July 4th to October 4th. That's my birthday. That's July 4th. I am 90 days from July 4th, 27. August 31 is 58. Then 30 is 88. 88 days. Is that right? Let's count again. 27, 31, 58, 68, 78, 88. So I'm wrong with this. This is 92. Oh, that's even better. 92. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? 92. You need 92. You want to hear silly? You need 92 because it's the yellow, something to do with the horses, okay? And it's yellow and it's also black. It's the energy that you come in here with. So you come with 92, but all of a sudden you go to 26, you become a dog. Your 2 times 9, 2 plus 9 is 18 and 11. 18 and 11, RK. And you can create the R and the K out of the same letter design by just stretching out You can be a king in your own domain. This is on top of the 6 key. If you put this on top of the 6 key, you're now using your brain. This is on the 6 key for 6. This is number 11. You have number 17. You have now connected it, where you have connected with dot at the early stages of the piano, 1 and 7, before you became 2 and 7 and couldn't think anymore, holding your hands, holding your head up. But this turns from a K into an R, and it becomes 7 more. 7 plus 11 equals to the 7 plus 11 equals 18 to Reich, and it equals that number. So you have R and K. K, 11. R18 equals 29. Equals 29. Isn't that what we were talking about? You revert. You revert. You revert. You revert, 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 revert. Revert. 92. Revert 92, don't get mad, it'll shut on you the door. Revert. Oh my god. Revert. Revert. Revert 29 to 26 minus 3. Cut a piece off shrimp. Don't need the shrimp no more. Now you use your own mind as the shrimp. And you become number 6 and you're in the doghouse. But you're 6 and there's somebody else that the queen is on top of you. So the queen is 62 and you're just 26 in the doghouse. But your mind is like a cat. It's supposed to be like that. Or something. You're tied up in the cat circle of life. 29 and 26, 55. The percentage of man is 76. 7 times 6 is 42. 7 plus 6 is 13 equals 55. The percentage of man, the spirit is 76. Why they're all over it? Because that's the spirit of our God. That's why they use it. But we came in here as 8 and 6. 2 times 2 and 2 times 4. Grover Cleveland both times. 2 times 2. Spirit of 76 is 8 and 6. 2 times 2 and 3 times 2. 8 and 6. 8, 6 are the only 2 numbers that when you multiply 2 times 4 and 2 plus 4 equals 6 and 8. The 6 and 8 are the only 2 that remake 10, 10 when you add them up together. The other ones that you can do that to is 7, 7 and 6. 7 and 6 gets 3 and 4. And 8 and 6 gets 2 and 4. And 9 and 6 and 1 and 4. And yeah, 9 and 6 and 1 and 4 do it also. But you see, They may do it, right? But this one multiplies to it. This one multiplies to it. 2 times 4, 2 plus 4 equals the 6 and 8. 3 and 4 make 10, 10, but 3 times 3 is not 6, it's 9. 9 over here. 4 times 3 is 12. You don't have 12, but in between these two. Man gets a hat, and man gets 2 hats. Man looks like a double D, diamond in the rough. January 1st, 31 days, February 14 days, then 14 days, then March 1st. 59, EIEIO, the Einstein theory, and 1. Revert 29, 55. If you go to the roulette table right now, these two numbers are both above each other, and they are there in the center exactly the way this is, and they have the 8 and 11 as I showed you before at the lower part of the roulette table, and you take away the 3 because you became the worm and you didn't need the worm. Whatever was left over in the worm is in your head, but he ain't doing all the work. He might be your mind, but the lax action comes on the soul, so that worm has to be split up into more than just one. But it doesn't matter, they all regrow. This is your Valentine's. May 5th to July is 60 days. There's your 60 days of March. July, August, September, October, 58, 68, 78, 88, and 4 is 92. So I see I made the same mistake twice. So my birthday and July are the same thing. July 4th, August 4th. 1331, it's all the same. We come into the house, I put 8 and 8. It's got to be 7 and 7, 6 and 6, and in here is 8 and 5. You have one passage you have to jump over, and you go 1, 2, 3, jump. 1, 2, 3, jump. 1, 2, 3, jump. Let me see if I can show it. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, jump. 1, 2, 3, jump. 1, 2. Do you want me to show you how it is, how small it is? I don't know where I'm going to start. 1, 2, 3, jump. 1, 2, 3, jump. 1, 2, 3, jump. So that's the way I'm going to play the piano. But the whole thing is, there's 2 sides of the board, and there's more than one C. So that's how you can divide it up in the piano. So I didn't. Did I? Oh, here. I have it set up. I'm gonna do this next. I'm gonna do this next. I don't know what to do. This is gonna be the piano, and you know, I start to think, and all of a sudden I start thinking. I say, oh, okay, I'll put that in too. Oh yeah, and I'll put that in too. And I'll put that in too. I put so many things in before I catch up to the place that I'm going. I've blocked the road by myself because I put too much stuff on my plate. That's why you see me doing less videos. I want to do a better video. If you want to talk to people, open your mouth, open your mind, go with the flow, but go as you know, so others will know. There's another one. There's so many of them. The stick, the lollipop stick, 20, 40, 60, 80. Every lollipop stick is a world of 20. You need 2 of them over each other. You need 2 of them over each other. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how this works. Okay. Okay, you see this? This is not enough balls. We have to make enough balls until this ball becomes the center of all the balls. So we need more stars and we need more ganja. That's right. The ganja to help turn green your mind, because what do you think? Your mind is red? Red lead? We're bleeding, and bleeding is so important. But what does it do? Where does it live? How does it become red again? Because when the autumn leaves fall, they're yellow, red, and green. But we're missing the green except for in the summer. But the ganja brings on the green, bringing a great light and truth. That ganja can tie things down and tie things up, and that way you won't be tied up by somebody else. They'll stand on guard for you. Because when you're on ganja, you're more relaxed. You stand up on your guard. Don't tell anybody has to tell you what you do. If you're acting like a perfect God and perfect man, then you should be feeling that way and knowing it that way. The society has pushed us out. And then I'm thinking, 18 holes in golf, 9 and 9. Man, okay, if God is 1, 2, 3, man becomes 4. If God is 1, 2, 3, okay, which in once 2 and 1 made 3, okay, and then they took 2 strands of 2, okay, God's strand, and then my strand. There's a hole in his strand right in the middle. So what I do is I shove my finger right in that hole, and he zaps me, and he never lets my finger go. So on one side of my shoulder, on the second side of my shoulder, and my heart starts beeping. 2 sides, 4 and 4. I and I, H and H. Because you can't see the bottom 4, the first part gets cut off because you're in the world, you're connected. 1, 2, 3, man comes in, and then man, what happens to man? He gets zapped in this Galactica world. They slap on him a 5 dice. They put a number here and here. They take up the corners. They take up their even numbers, take up the corners. So they slap on us a 5. So we slap on a 5, but that's good because that's our electricity, our chute. This is the 50-wave passage because it's in the second zone. This is 400, this is 50, this is 6. So this here we jump in, and they throw a buoy on top of our head. You're jumping into the water, and this world over here has to connect to this 5 world also. So they threw onto the moon a ring on the moon. You threw your ring on the moon. He threw his ring on the moon. He controls the moon. So whatever you do, you control the moon in your body, but you don't actually control the moon in the sky. That controls your mood. 4 times 5 is 20, times 6 is 120. 20 gets 26, because then it starts over at T again, the transmission. My cat went to the bathroom in my house. It smelled like cow dupe. What does that tell you? DNA from the cats coming from the cattle? Where does the goat come from? Because the goat gave 2 tits. But the only time 4 tits came up is when Beta came in and made 2 of you. So they made the cow. They had the 4. They made you. You were 4. Beta comes in. She makes 1, 2. Beta comes in. She makes 1, 2, 1, 2. Beta has her string. Everybody comes with a string. And then they all string up. And they're ready to have a party and a kite. And we're ready to go. She's always, it's just like looking at the cards and taking this corner and taking this corner. You have to connect that now because that's where the house is. You're not going into the house in the corner. Your house, your door is more, you see, there's your garage. The J, that's for your jackets. You come into the house. See the leaf? See these 3 things here? They're the electrical contact. You know what they put in there? Like a rosin bag. You know why? Because no matter how much you move, the 2 of them, you can move a lot. And if it starts to leak the rocks, you have to collect your mind. So we're going to do the piano, and there's still a lot left. There's still a ton left. I mean, 3/7 is Nibiru, and 3/7 is coming. And here's all the dates I'm working on. Okay, for certain reasons, the 31st of March because it brings on April 1st, and May 5th is the Mayan day of 555, and May 26th is Jacob's birthday, who has cancer right now, and this is the one I pray for. That's 2662. If the dam breaks, maybe it will break and we'll be free. We need to break the ring, not the dam. Why? Because you know what's at the dam? Part of the incoming of the flux of the chromosome of the other world. They're going to try and block off that completely. That's what I'm assuming. And what they'll do is they'll duplicate it, and then they'll put it back. But then they'll have even more control over us after they do that. They can never take away what God puts here because it stays here. You have earth on the ground, it stays here. You have grass on the ground, it stays here. You have the bones, it stays here. You can't take God's work away. You can use it, you can manipulate it, you can do what you want, because that's what the price is to pay when you want to run the planet. Somebody had to do it. June 30th, the end of June, the end of July, August 4th, my grandmother's birthday. July 4th. 13 and 1 is 4. That's where I'm born. 90 days from me to July. And then from July this way and this way. September 19, October 4th. 16 days, 8 days, 26, 15 days, 36, 46, 51 falls right there. Because when you hit 51, now you're going 49. You're on the other side. If you go over center C, okay, and you hit 51, okay, and this is 50, and this is 49 on this side. Once you get 1 yard into that side, the coin that's in the middle of the field for the emblem is only there, or 2 yards, whatever it is, 1 or 2 yards. And now you have to automatically say 49, 48, 47, 46, 45, because you're going down. You can go down both ways. You can stay in the middle of the field and go down both ways. The minefield. Passing over Niagara Falls. 2 mines, minefield. What is a minefield? Can you see this? This is the letter R. This is the crown of the beginning of the separation of each level. Because when you have this, you go down a level. When it crosses, you have the 7th gate. The V is the staircase. The X is the 7th gate, probably the laboratories. So 7 and 8. 7 and 8 is laboratory. Or it's 1 and 2. Most likely 1. 1 is laboratory. But 1 and 6 makes the 7th gate, meaning a laboratory for bringing somebody into the world. Now, there's the pineal gland. There's the female disc, and the female disc and the male disc. You see, the female disc is this, 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 and this. Everything crisscrosses over here. Okay? But who owns this? Alpha owns this. He owns this spot right here. So all the females went to one penis. But they were working off different energies to become one. Each circle is worth 20. 20, 40, 60, 80. This one's worth 20, is 100 plus 5. 105th day was the Boston Massacre. Do you know why? He's worth 105, he's worth 155. Why? Because you have 2 guys, 2 worlds at center, and you're playing center of 2 worlds. Okay, I think we did enough. I think we did enough. There's still some stuff missing. 1504, 10-4, 72. The Monopoly board. We didn't do the piano. You see this over here? All you do is come around and you make a jack and you pull it onto the other side. All you do is turn around, make it loop, and you come to the other side, and always crisscross. And that way you'll be tying up and looping just with your pen right till the end. For the braids of the 2 of 2 that came into this world. I want to thank you for whoever made it this far. I'm not sure how much I overlapped what I was saying. Neptune, Ashtun, Ashton, Neptune, Neptuna, birth, 2 births in Neptune, tuna. The tuna is dying because the other world connect is dying off. And they can't afford to lose that. The other world, the brains are dying off. They need to put whatever it is into the world. But it says right here, the word Neptune. Neptune and Venus. The vine of the life is the pregnancy. The vines come off the tails of the sperm, which comes from alpha. The O is what the ring they put on it, on the moon, so that anytime any energies come in, the moon will mix it up with those energies. It has a hard time and it needs to spend a lot of money. Why? Because it doesn't hold too dearly onto copper. It has a problem with copper. That's why they have a problem keeping up to what they want to do, is because of the copper. They had trouble moving down the street because of the copper was in the way. What was the price of copper? I don't know. He stopped me. It cost me $3.85. The other time a copper stopped me, what? Yes, I'll take a cup of water, please. The copper in the air, The copper connect to the ground, ground. I got a ticket walking on copper. Why? Because the earth is a copper mountain. It takes all the energy from everything outside and brings it all inside itself, and then it emanates underneath the ground. The more trees, the more flowers, the more it emanates. And the cycle of life, the green life of Ganja, moves on. Raphael 7286 in the constellation of Pegasus. Thank you for watching.